Hey guys, what's up? Welcome back to iTouch App Reviewers. In this video, I want to go over everything that Apple went over today at their keynote. So there was a ton of stuff talked about and unveiled today. So there's a lot to go through in this video. So I'm going to make this as quick as possible. I'm actually going to go through everything one by one and just touch on some of the smaller things like the Apple Watch and Apple TV, and then get on to the main event. So the first product that Apple refreshed today is the Apple Watch, and they are coming out with the Series 3. Series 3 is going to ship with watchOS 4, which has new features such as Gym Kit, which will obviously help when you are at the gym. You can tap your watch to certain machines, and it can stay in sync with all of your metrics and stuff. It also has new sensors in it. It's going to be available on September 19th and will feature LTE. So this will basically use the exact same phone number that you have on your iPhone, and it will be available to you when you're not with your iPhone. So this is kind of like what I think the Apple Watch was originally supposed to be. They just couldn't do it at that time. So the Apple Watch is not really getting any thicker. They did have to increase by 0.25 millimeters the back glass. Other than that, it's the exact same form factor as the old Apple Watches. So that is, I guess, a plus. It still looks exactly the same. So the only difference is that you're going to notice is the red crown on that. It's got a red inset thing. So that's the only real difference. All the antennas are behind the display, which is pretty cool. I think it's even like attached to the display, they said, or something like that. It's crazy. But it does have LTE, and you'll be able to take calls, listen to music, do whatever you want straight from your watch, which is pretty cool. They even demonstrated calling someone that was in the middle of a river or lake or something on a paddleboard, and it was pretty weird. Then of course new bands, but no one really cares about that. Series 1 now starts at $249, Series 3 at $329, and Series 3 with cellular starts at $399. So now on to the Apple TV. They're calling it Apple TV 4K. Of course, it has 4K HDR, which they showed is much better than just normal 4K, and is going to be powered by the A10X chip, same one used in the iPad Pro. Now, if you bought any 1080p movies recently, they are going to bump those up to 4K if you get this for free, and 4K movies will be the same price as HD, which is pretty cool. And of course, they're trying to get some new apps and games and live TV coming to the Apple TV as well, just to make it more enticing. Now, if you want to buy one, the Apple TV 32 gig is starting at $149 now. The Apple TV 4K 32 gig, the new one, starts at $179, and 64 gig at $199. So those are the prices. It's available to order on September 15th, which is this Friday, and launches September 22nd. Next up, the iPhone 8 and 8 Plus. Now, a lot of this follows the exact rumors that we were pointing out for the past couple months. So if you guys stayed up on top of that, there was really not a whole lot new to see. So the iPhone 8 and 8 Plus are pretty much exactly what we expected. They look pretty much the same as the iPhone 7 and 7 Plus. Showed off aerospace grade aluminum, 7-layer color process, 50% deeper strengthening layer, and glass reinforced by steel, which means basically the back is now glass, which means wireless charging on the iPhone 8 and 8 Plus, which is huge. It's great to have that without having to step up to the iPhone X, which I will get to in just a second. But it does have that going for it, which is nice. And it also has the new A11 Bionic chip, which is pretty impressive. Got 2 performance cores, 25% faster than the A10, 4 high efficiency cores, 70% faster than the A10, second gen Apple designed performance controller with 70% faster multitasking workloads. It also has better speakers with deeper bass. It's microscopically sealed for water and dust resistance. Of course, it's the same 4.7 inch and 5.5 inch Retina displays. It does have the True Tone technology as well. Now, it's got the same 12 megapixel camera as the iPhone 7. However, it's got an all new sensor, deeper pixels, new color filter, and optical image stabilization on that as well. Now, the wide-angle lens on the 8 Plus has an f1.8 aperture and a telephoto lens that has the f2.8 aperture. Again, no OIS on that second telephoto lens, just on the main lens on the 8 Plus. There's a new beta feature called portrait lighting, basically exact same thing that we talked about a couple days ago that were referenced in the iOS 11 GM code. iOS 11 did actually released today, the GM for beta testers, so you guys can go download that right now as I'm talking. There's a new feature called portrait lighting. The subject gets separated from the background. Machine learning creates facial landmarks and changes the lighting of your face while you are composing the shot. That's got some pretty fancy stuff in there. An Apple designed video encoder with faster frame rates and 4K video at 60 frames per second and 1080p video at 240 frames per second, which is insane. The cameras are calibrated for AR in the factory, which is weird, pretty cool. Low light, 60 frames per second. It's got new gyroscope and accelerometer features to have better accurate motion tracking as well. Pretty impressive nonetheless. Then they showed off some AR stuff, nothing that I'm too impressed with there. And then they showed off the wireless charging. Again, glass back means you can charge this phone without a wire, so to speak. The charger obviously still has to have a wire. It's not true wireless charging, as some might say. It's inductive wireless charging. Cool nonetheless, something that Android phones have had for a while, but now it's making its way to the iPhone. iPhone 8 and 8 Plus support LTE Advanced and Bluetooth 5.0. Now, if you're wondering where the heck can I get one of these wireless chargers for this iPhone 8, you're going to have to go to a third party, such as Mophie or Belkin. They are producing these Qi wireless chargers right now. Mophie, Incipio, Belkin, and a few other accessory makers actually have these being made right now. So you'll be able to buy those from the Apple Store for a ridiculously overpriced amount of money, because obviously those companies have to pay to be in the Apple Store, blah, blah, blah. That's why they're so expensive. So you can buy those there. Apple does not have theirs yet. We'll touch on that in a minute, but there's no Apple wireless charger yet. So that's a lot to go over. Orders start on September 15th, launch and availability on September 22nd, which is the exact date that we had been talking about for the past, month or so. So this is exactly lining up with the rumors. iPhone X, iPhone 10, whatever, it is a different story. So let's get to that in just a second. Let's first go over the iPhone 8 and 8 Plus availability for sizes and prices. So they come in 64 and 256 gigabyte variants, ranging from $699 and $799 respectively. So iPhone 8 starting at $699, iPhone 8 Plus starting at $799. So those are the prices for those. And then there was one more thing, and we all knew what that one more thing would be. Wasn't sure that they were going to introduce it like that, but it's kind of cool that they did. And yeah, this was the iPhone X, and they call it the iPhone 10, but it does have an X. So obviously Roman numeral means 10. Okay, we all know that. This was the unveiling of the iPhone 10, iPhone X, whatever you want to call it. I'll call it both. The phone is absolutely awesome looking. It's got that full screen, just as we had been reporting on, edge-to-edge display, vertically aligned dual camera lens, and a notch at the top for the front-facing camera and earpiece. And there's actually a lot of tech up in there. Water and dust resistance at a microscopic level. Space gray and silver will be the two colors that you can purchase this in. It's got a super retina display. So this is a 458 ppi display, and it is 5.8 inches, which is 2,436 by 1,125 for the resolution, which means there's 2.7 million pixels in this iPhone. That's the highest pixel density on any iPhone ever, and it is going to look good. It is OLED. Also features an HDR display, Dolby Vision and HDR10, 1,000,000:1 contrast ratio, color accuracy, 3D touch, and True Tone display. You've got tap to wake up the display. You can swipe up from the bottom to go to the home screen because there is no home button, and it works the same way across the entire iOS system. So you pretty much just learn one thing, swipe up from the bottom, that goes home. Tap to wake is going to be awesome. So when you set your phone down, obviously you can't press a home button. You're just going to tap the screen and it will wake up. Swipe up from the bottom and pause for a second to view the multitasking screen. Siri is now activated via a double tap on the side button or saying, "Hey Siri." Face ID is used to unlock the phone with your face. And during the event, Air Force One, Craig, he went up there and he tried to unlock the phone with his face, and it failed like twice right at the beginning. And that kind of killed all of the momentum for me. Like, I was super excited, and then it failed like once or twice, and I was like, oh no, this is not good. So he kind of skipped that. He went to a different phone, and it picked up his face and unlocked. And it was cool then, but I don't know, that fail just kind of, it was the first time doing it, and it's like, come on, you got to at least make this work. These phones are set up perfectly for this, and it still didn't work, but just a little glitch. And later in the demo, he kind of showed it off again, and he was like, oh, watch, it won't turn on. It won't unlock the phone unless I'm actually looking at it. So like, he put it up to his face, and then he kind of peeked at it and it unlocked. But I feel like it kind of unlocked a little bit too quickly there without him actually looking at it. So I don't know. We'll have to see about that. So I'm still a little iffy on this Face ID stuff, but they did show it off. Looks pretty cool. The front notch is called the True Depth camera area. It's got an infrared camera, flood illuminator, front camera, dot projector, ambient light sensor, and a microphone. It's positioned just above the display, which is OLED. That's where all that stuff is housed. It's going to be able to illuminate you in a dark room using infrared light. And so if you're, in bed, it's pitch black, you can still unlock your phone, which is great. Pretty cool. And they said that, if you get a haircut or whatever, it's not going to affect it, which I'm a little bit skeptical on, of course. I'm sure it learns over time, like your haircuts and what you can look like and stuff. But one thing they did not mention, they mentioned glasses, taking them on and off, but they did not mention sunglasses. So I'm a little bit skeptical on that one. That could be a very big annoyance for a lot of people. But anyways, the new A11 Bionic chip has built-in neural engine to process facial recognition, specialized hardware for machine learning algorithms. Got a dual-core design, 600 billion operations per second, real-time processing. Face ID has a pretty simple setup, and it can adapt to your face as like if you're growing a beard or whatever. Like I said before, it works day and night. Face ID is secure with protections against spoofs such as photos of someone's face or like a mask. They said that they went into a lot of work to kind of counteract that, and they kind of mentioned twins, but they didn't exactly say, or maybe I just missed it, but there wasn't a whole lot of talk on that. So I don't know, if you're a twin, you might want to be little bit careful there. Face data is protected in the A11 chip's secure enclave on-device processing. With Touch ID, there was a 1 in 50,000 chance that Touch ID could be compromised by someone else. With Face ID, it's 1 in a million, supposedly. Pretty low, unless you have an identical twin, which is what they mentioned there. No Touch ID on the iPhone X at all, which is pretty much exactly what we expected. And then they announced the Animoji, which we just touched on the other day here on our channel, which was leaked out, and these are pretty cool. So Animojis can be used in the Messages app, and there's dozens of them to choose from at the start, like a robot, monkey, cat, dog, and fish, but I'll put those up on the screen so you guys can see all the different ones you can choose from. Basically what you do is you talk, and it kind of like overlays it on your face in a more intense way, I guess, than a Snapchat filter, and yeah, you can make it move, I guess, however you want, and it tracks your face and displays that accordingly on the emoji, which is pretty cool. And you can send those to friends and record them and say different things. It's kind of cool. The iPhone X or iPhone 10 camera, 12 megapixel dual cameras, larger and faster sensors, new color filter, deeper pixels, f1.8 and 2.4 apertures, dual optical image stabilization, which means both lenses have OIS, which is awesome. Better low light zoom, and improved video stabilization. iPhone X front-facing true depth camera allows for portrait mode selfies with portrait lighting. So the A11 Bionic chip, again, has 2 performance cores, 4 high efficiency cores, 2nd gen Apple design performance controller, Apple design GPU, Apple design ISP, Apple design video encoder, and secure enclave. Now they're claiming that the battery life on the iPhone X lasts 2 hours more than the iPhone 7. So we'll have to see about that. They didn't actually give any specifics on the milliamp hours. Now they typically don't, but I would like to know what those are going to be. Should be a bigger battery nonetheless, and yeah, so we'll have to see about that. There's a new Apple wireless charging accessory that will be releasing next year, so not this year. Don't get your hopes up for that. And this will be able to charge, your iPhone X or 10, your Apple Watch Series 3, and your new AirPods. Now, they didn't really mention this, but the new AirPods, it's the same one that we reported on the other day. It's a new package, new case for the AirPods themselves with the light on the outside, the status light. So this makes sense. So you just set it on this AirPower pad and it will charge up. So you can charge all 3 devices at once by just setting them on this thing, which is pretty cool. But again, not launching till next year. I bet it's going to be like $100 or $150. So we'll have to see about that. They did not mention when these new AirPods would be coming out or the price. So I'm assuming the same price, but no one really knows the date yet, and I really wanted to buy these today just to at least get on the wait list because I'm sure they're going to take forever to ship. Now, the iPhone X comes in 64 and 256 gigs, so not ideal. I would have rathered 128 and 256, but whatever. Starts at $999 for the 64 gig. They didn't say how much the 256 would be, but we can assume, $1,100, and pre-orders start October 27th and are available on November 3rd. That is a big wait. When I heard that, I was like, no, made me so upset. But yeah, so we do have to wait for these, unfortunately. But that's that. That's pretty much all of the news that we heard about today at the event. Overall, it was pretty exciting. A little bit bummed out to see that the iPhone X, iPhone 10, whatever, isn't launching until over a month from now. That's the way it is. So that's all I got for this video, guys. If you liked it, hit with a big thumbs up and subscribe. I will be pre-ordering the iPhone X, probably in black, probably the 64 gig edition. And yeah, we will see how that is. I will try to get that, first thing. So I'll have it by November 3rd, I guess. But yeah, October 27th is the date to pre-order that phone. And yeah, so if you want the iPhone 8, you guys can get that, a month early, like, this coming week, or next week you'll get it, but pre-order it this week. But if you want the iPhone X, you're going to have to wait. So that's all I got for this video, guys. If you liked it, hit with a thumbs up and subscribe, and I will see you guys in the next one. Peace.